In today's class, I'll cover two topics. First, methods having parameters and return type. And the second one, if I get time, then I'll cover static methods. Okay. So now the first topic, methods having parameters and return type. So I had already explained the syntax of the methods in which we sometimes pass information inside a parenthesis. Parenthesis means a small bracket, and those information are actually parameters. And just before the name of the method, we put certain data type. So that data type is actually return type of the method. So sometimes method can also not return any value. So in that case, we put word return type there. Or otherwise, we can put any data type that we know, like int, float, char, boolean, anyone. Okay. So we'll cover data types in more detail in our next chapter. Okay. So now here I am going to create a program having a user defined method, and that method will accept parameters and that will return a value also. Means the method will have parameters as well as return type both. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So once again, I'm going to open this Notepad++, and here I'm going to create a fresh new program. So just by declaring the class. So the name of the class, method Okay, so this is the name of the class, method with return. Or I can put type also. So the name becomes big actually, so no problem. So this is the block, and inside this block, I'm going to define one method. So this method will return a particular value, and that value is of integer type. Okay. Next, after this return type, we have to give the name of the method. So let us give a name. Method one, I'm going to give. And this method will accept the parameters also. So for parameters, I'm going to declare some variables, int a, int b, int c. Means three values it will accept. Now this is the block of this method one. After this, main method is needed. So okay. And this is the block of the main method. So now in this main method, I'm going to declare some variables like n1, n2, avg, and sum. One more n3. Okay, so these are the variables in this main method. Now I'm going to assign values in these three variables n1, n2, and n3. N1 equals to, let's make it 12, n2 equals to 18, n3 equals to 15. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this program, that I'll find the average of these three numbers. So you already know that how to find average. So in order to find the average, first we have to add the given numbers and then we have to divide. So this method one is specifically made here for addition of numbers. Means I'll pass these three numbers to this method one, and this method one will add all these three numbers and it will return the sum value in the main method. And after returning the value, then we can easily calculate the average just by dividing by 3. So just look it carefully. So first of all, I'm going to create one object of this class. With that object, I can call this method one. Name of the object I'm going to give ob1 equals to new method with return type, like this. Okay. Now I can call with this object ob1 this method one. Okay. So just look ob1 dot method one, and this method one is actually accepting three uh, values. Just you can see here in this parameter list, it needs three values, and all those three values must be of type integer. So here we have three integer values stored in these variables. So I'm going to pass these variables n1, n2, and n3. Just put semicolon here, and whatever the result this method one will return, that result I'll store inside this sum variable. Okay, so now let us complete its definition. So in the definition, what we have to do, only we have to add these three numbers and return the result. So here again one variable is needed. So let us take s, and here s equals to a plus b plus c. Okay, so addition of these three variables means content of these three variables will be stored inside this variable s. So this is the result produced from this method one. So now the next thing I have to do here is to return. So to return, I have to use this keyword return, and what I have to return? The value inside s. Means the sum stored inside this s variable. So I'll return this s using this statement return s. Okay. Now we have the sum inside this sum variable, and now we can easily calculate the average. So avg equals to sum by 3. So now no, system dot out dot println. I'm going to give the message uh, means information of all these three numbers, then I'll display the average. So first of all, first number equals to, and it is stored inside n1 variable, the first number, and the same way I'm going to copy and paste it 2 times. Now the second number is stored inside n2 variable, and then here comes the third number, and it is stored inside n3 variable. Now I can display the average. So I'm going to change the message average equals to, and average is stored inside avg variable. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so now this program is here complete. So now just listen carefully what will happen. Our program execution will begin from this main method. So the first line inside main method is declaration of variables. So here you can see total 5 variables here, and all these variables are of integer type. So out of these 5 variables, here I have declared values inside 3 variables, n1, n2, and n3 using these 3 statements. Now after this, this line will be executed. So in this line, one object is created of this class method with return type. So the name of the object you can see OB1. Why I have created one object? I have created one object so that I can access this method, method 1. Because with object, we can only call to the method. Okay. Next line you see here in this line, a calling to this method is made here. In calling, what we have to do? Just we have to use the name of the object, that is OB1, and then put dot, and then name of the method which you have to call. So OB1 dot method 1. So here in this method 1, 3 values here it is taking. So I have passed here 3 variables, n1, n2, and n3. So just after this line, means the method calling line, the program control will jump on this method because this method is called. So the execution now begins for this method 1. So this n1 value will be copied inside a variable, n2 value will be copied inside B, and n3 values will be copied inside C. Now in this method, there is one more variable, that is S, and the sum of A, B, and C is stored inside S variable. And the last line in this method is return S. It means this method 1 is returning the value inside S, and where it will be returned. So it will return to the place from where this method is called. Means this will return value on this line. So whatever the value returned from this method 1, from this place to this place, that value will be stored inside this sum variable. Now we have some variable with us. and then we can use this sum variable to calculate the average. Simply what we have to do, so we have to just divide this sum value by 3 since we have 3 numbers. Okay, so after division, the value that will get that is stored inside this ABG variable. So this is our average value. Now the last few lines you can see all these are output lines. So you can see I have displayed all these 3 numbers that I have taken to calculate average. First number, second number, and third number. And the last line is to display the average value calculated after this statement. So this is how this program will be executed by the compiler. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you have any doubt, any kind of doubt, you can ask. Any doubt in any line?
Sir, what is the use of integer is that under method 1?
This
Integer is no, sir, that next one.
this
Integer
one.
is, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So listen, uh, N1, N2, and N3, these 3 values are copied inside these 3 variables A, B, C. And what is the
Yes.
requirement of this method? I have made this method to find the sum of these 3 values or not.
Yeah.
Okay. So here I have declared the 4th variable named S to store the sum of these 3 variables, means A plus B plus C. So the sum will be stored inside this S variable, and then I can return this value inside S to the place from where this method 1 is called, means this place. Understood?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Or we can have another option also. We need not to declare this variable. Simply what I can do that just see here. I'm going to remove these lines here, and what I'll do that I'll return this only A plus B plus C, like this. I can also do. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So this thing can also be done here, but that option is actually the conventional. Means first we find out the sum of all these variables, we store it in the 4th variable, and then return the that s variable. So that one is actually the conventional method, and this one is the very shortcut method, you can say. Means no need to write those 2 lines, or no need to put the 4th variable in the action. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So any option you can use. So I'm going with that option only because you all are beginners right now only. Okay, then let us save this program. Okay, so no error you can see. Now I'm going to run this program, Java, and Okay. So now you can see the result. First number 12, second number 18, third number 15, and average equals to 15. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how we can use this a method with the return type and parameters. So here int is the return type and the variables inside this parenthesis are actually the parameters. So now, any question?
No,
Yes, sir.
sir.
So now everyone understood how this program is executed in this computer line by line, means which line is needed for what operation.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, we can actually make any number of methods in a single program. So here just you see now that this method one is designated for one purpose, that is for adding three values and returning the result. Okay, so here we are doing this operation of display to display all the contents, numbers as well as the result. So we can also make a special method for this purpose also. Just that method will display all the results. Okay. We can also make one method that will find the average also. Means then now our main method will look little bit clean. Not all these statements will be there in the main method. If we make one more method or one or two more methods. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. We can also change here the data type. For example, if I change it to float, then we have to declare it this float s variable also as float, because here I am returning the s value, no? Means the s variable. So the return type is float. So this variable type must also be as a float. Okay. So now we can give another numbers like 55 it is not. Let us make it 20. 20. Let us see what result it is showing now. Okay. Yes, one error it is showing due to mismatching of data. Because the value returning this method is of float type, and this value here we are storing it inside integer type variable sum.
Yes, sir.
So let us make this also float semicolon. Now save. Oh, yes. Again here, some variable is divided by 3, and we are storing the result in ABG variable. So what type of ABG variable it is? Tell me.
So it should be float.
Yes, here you
It
can
should be
see in,
float.
ABG variable of integer.
yes, it is here declared integer type, na. So this sub variable is a float type. So when you divide a float type value by 3, the value you will get will also be a float type. So it should be stored inside a float type or double type variable, not integer type. Okay. So, okay, then declare it float. Save. So now you can see there is no error. So now we can run this program. So just see the result. Means first, second, third, all these numbers are of integer type, but their average is of means in fractional values or decimal value. That is why it is showing. Understood, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you have good knowledge, then you can correct your errors from the program, because in the program it will show errors like this. So just see the message: incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from float to int. So when you know about this error, then you can also figure it out how to correct it. Okay. So for this, you must have knowledge about data types, what type of data is supported by a particular data type, what is the range, and how then you can correct your errors from the program. Okay. So now I'm going to make one little change here in this program. And the change is that here I am going to declare this method one as static. So if you remember about static, then this method now can be called directly using this class name, not with the object name. Means so whatever the static method we have in a program, so that method can be called only using the class name. There is now no need to use object. Okay, means we can't call a static method with the help of object. We can only call with help of the class name. Okay, so now there is no need to declare this object and then removing this OB1, and then we have to put the name of the class here. Just copy and paste. Now see. Again, no error. Again, you can see the same result. But if I remove this class name from here and put OB1, say, again you can see the same result.
Yes, sir.
But if I put this class name and when I remove this static keyword from here and again save this program, after compilation you can see the error cannot be referenced from a static constant context. So I'll explain this thing in our next class because I think our time is over.